Live. Hello, everyone. Hello to our lovely followers. Um, as you know, tonight we are doing our first ever live interview with renowned sports photographer Eddie Keogh. Eddie Keogh is a Canon ambassador, so I just want to say thank you to Canon Ireland as well and Canon UK for helping us out to get Eddie on with us this evening. Unfortunately, we were meant to have an event last weekend, but because of the ongoing COVID-19 restrictions, that obviously wasn't able to go ahead. So this is the next best thing, I suppose, that we get to have Eddie on himself, and he's going to be answering a couple of our questions. So let me just get Eddie here now. I'll invite him into the chat and then we can get going. So let me invite him. Bear with me now 1 second. And he should be joining any minute now. We hope you are all keeping safe and well.
Hi.
Hello. I was not expecting that, Eddie. Was not expecting.
There you go. Rob's full of surprises. How are you doing?
I'm doing really well. How are you doing?
Oh, this lockdown's killing me. I can't get out.
You clearly haven't been to a hairdresser or a barber in a very long time.
I was thinking of getting my hair cut, but I'm getting to quite like it now. What do you think?
Yeah. I think it suits you, to be honest.
Yeah. I could do with that tidy up, really, but anyway, that's enough of that frivolity. So I've been shooting sport for, God, maybe 35 years, starting off...
You don't look it.
You said to the boys, eh? No, yes. There we go. Yeah, so 35 years, shooting sport for almost all that time. My first job was on an agency up in Liverpool, Mercury Press. And that was a great place to learn because they have two great football teams, and I kind of cut my teeth working at Liverpool and Everton. So that was a great place to start, and then moved from there down to London on another agency in London, and then got to shoot lots of London teams, and then international football at Wembley and rugby at Twickenham, and then in sort of. Then that's what I kind of really learned. It's kind of sports photography was really my thing, was kind of in my blood, and I got the chance to go to the Olympics in Los Angeles in '84. So that was the real start of me becoming a kind of a serious sports photographer, I guess. Yeah. So since then I've been working on newspapers, shooting sport. Today newspaper, which was the first colour newspaper. And now I'm working as a freelance. I've been freelance the last 20 years. So for the last 15, I've been with Reuters news agency, shooting lots of sport for them. And funnily enough, at the moment, because I'm not shooting sport, they've asked me to kind of do kind of some news and features, and I'm out there trying to find stories to cover. Dicky Pelham, good lad.
That's very cool. So you're dipping your toe out of sports photography at the moment.
Yes, yeah. Well, it kind of needs must, isn't it? Really, there is literally
Absolutely,
there is no sport, and all those guys out there and girls that are kind of following in those footsteps. It's kind of difficult at the moment what to do. So, but I think whatever it is, just shoot something, whether it's news or wildlife or any features or your family. I mean, actually telling this story in itself is worth doing, because whatever you're doing, you need to have the camera in your hand and working with the camera, because the more you work with the camera, the more comfortable you get with it, So
yeah,
really
and as you said, like a lot of photographers, like they work for themselves, so it's about just drumming up any sort of business right now that they can as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes, so it should be working on the social media. It's a chance to. It's actually a really good chance for everyone to kind of stop and think about what they're doing, what they are actually doing in their career, and what if they really enjoy it. They might find, with not having done it for the last 6 weeks, maybe whatever they're doing, they may not miss it at all, and that could be a sign as well. But I'm like most photographers who as a profession, we can't wait to get back to it. But I think we're going to have to wait a little longer, even though they're talking about the Premier League coming back in June. It's going to be really difficult because there's going to be so many restrictions, and they're only going to let in a few photographers. They're going to, obviously, it's going to be no crowd, so they're going to keep the numbers down. TV will have as many in there as they need, but photography-wise, it's going to be very limited. So it's even for those guys that are professional, they're still not going to shoot sport for a long time. So
yeah, there's not going to be like any crowds or anything like that. So you're kind of missing out on the atmosphere and that kind of, because crowd shots are important as well as
Absolutely, yeah. No, it's a big part of it. Yeah, without a doubt, it's a big part of it. But at the moment, I think we'd all be happy even to shoot football without the crowds, because we're obviously very keen to come back.
So what's it like being a Canon brand ambassador? Like, what opportunities does it bring to you as a photographer?
It is. I mean, funny if we just on the pro website there, literally just came on yesterday. It was a little trip we did back early last year. We went down to see David Noten, who's a landscape photographer, and that was actually really cool to kind of see a different genre at work. I mean, it's funny, yeah. we tend to be a little bit, blinkered in what we do. If we are sport, it's all about the sport. But I think it's nice now and again to open up a little bit and see how other people work from different genres, because it's amazing what you can learn from listening to other photographers. So yeah. So I would totally recommend that. Yeah.
Getting photographers together, it's a pool of knowledge, as you said.
Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah. It was very, because we had Sanjay, a wedding photographer, Helen Bartlett, who does families, Mark Aspland, who's another sports photographer. So it was kind of very interesting to get all these different people in the room and talking photography. So it's amazing how so many different angles we can all come from, and that's just those genres. Fashion photographer is different, and architectural photographer is different. So many different skills.
Yeah, there was a pun in there somewhere.
somewhere.
So Ben Brady asks, best piece of advice for a sports photographer starting off, especially for the youngest member in a company.
The youngest, well, okay, so a young sports photographer. I mean, advice. Okay, so when we do, at the moment, it's very difficult. It's very difficult at the moment, but certainly that's not to stop anyone learning. And just as I said earlier, just get the camera in your hand as much as possible. No matter what it is, whether it's at home. I mean, we did a little video about working in the garden, or going out for walks. If you're going out with a walk with a dog, and just try and photograph the dog running up and down the field. It'll just practice your skill of having the camera in your hand and following the focus. So just getting used to following a subject around. That's with sport generally. That is something you need to be very comfortable with. So getting used to the settings, using fast shutter speeds, and just trying different stuff. The camera's got so many different things you can do with it, from fast shutter speeds, slow shutter speeds, changing the color balance, different lenses, different tricks. There's lots of things you can do, and then honing your skills when you get back home with Photoshop as well. So that's you could spend a lot of time just doing photography if you really want to. It's, I guess, with everything in life, it depends how much the passion is inside you, how much you really want to do it. And that only those that have that real passion will succeed in this business. It's a pretty competitive business, and it's got to be. You've got to almost give everything. I mean, myself and lots of photographers had to sacrifice stuff, because sport is at the weekend. So generally, if you like sport, you like to play sport, and so I had to miss out on myself on playing a lot of football myself, because I had to go to work at the weekend. So there are sacrifices to make, but if you can, that can be made up eventually with you can get to some amazing places. If you do get to a level where you're then working for a small agency, and you get the chance to go to bigger football matches, bigger rugby matches, go to Wimbledon, you go to Olympics, you go to World Cups, that's when it all suddenly starts becoming worthy. When you get to those kind of things, it's like, yeah, that was worth all the hard work. So yeah, and saying hard work, I mean, I kind of say hard work, but even when I was young, it was just, I just wanted to do it. I didn't bother me working 12 hours, 14 hours a day, because I was doing something I enjoyed, something I had a passion for. So that's the key. If you've got the passion for it, you know, you'll never do a day's work in your life, is the same. So actually, what's really good now is there's so many opportunities to kind of join local football teams or rugby teams or hockey, wherever it is. You know, it doesn't have to be a big team. And I would actually expressly tell people to go to just small clubs where you can get to work at. You don't need to go to big clubs to learn photography. You've got to hone your trade. And like all kind of professional people, they have to spend time learning that, and that doesn't take weeks. That can take years, you know. So really work hard, honing those skills, and do that at a local club. And when you've gone to that local club 2 or 3 times, people are going to ask, hey, you know, what's your name? How you doing? It's nice to see you taking pictures, and then you can offer some pictures, and then you start building relationships, and then before you know it, if they start liking your pictures, they can't live without them, and then they'll say, well, maybe we can pay you for them. And so it's a nice stepping stone, you know, into the business, you know.
And how important are the connections that you make, you know, even in those early days, or even just, you know, throughout your career?
Yeah, absolutely. I never. I mean, never. There's no need to upset anyone, you know. Just you always got to keep friendly with everyone, you know, so, as much as you can. So yeah, make those connections, because you never know, that guy who works in that you know, who does a bit of the press at that small club, he might move to a bigger club. And when he goes to a bigger club, he because he's worked with you the last 2 years, he might say, hey, Freddie, love your stuff. Do you mind coming now to work at Norwich City or a bigger club? You know, so it's amazing how it kind of spirals on. And even when you start have a connection to a club, they say, oh, can you do other stuff? You know, my friend's having a party or a wedding or this or that. But it's really important to talk to people, introduce yourself, you know, be nice, good mannered, and yeah, just generally friendly, and I guess, you know, try and enjoy what you're doing.
Ask G Bollard photo. Actually, this is a twofer. There's 2 questions. They're quite similar. So Glenn Bollard asks, talk through your editing workflow and how Eddie gets snaps across so quick. And Tomas Miner asked a similar question, and he said, what's Eddie's post-capture routine from getting images off cards and sending them out to backups?
Okay, so whether I'm working for Reuters or the FA, they need pictures quick. So social media, obviously, they need it now. So we have transmitters on our cameras, and the transmitter on the camera talks to like a little MiFi unit in your pocket. So the MiFi unit has a little SIM card in it, so you can send data through that to an FTP address that would be at wherever the client is, whether that's Reuters, the FA, or O2. And that's pretty much how we move the pictures pretty quickly. You can also with the camera, you can also put certain bigger grounds, Premier League grounds, they have cable points, so you can plug in an Ethernet cable, and your Ethernet cable can also go into the camera, and that can send the pictures much quicker. And even the Ethernet cable can go into the MiFi unit, so you can work both cameras off the MiFi unit. So if I explain that at a game of football, we'd have probably work with 3 or 4 cameras. So one camera would have a short lens, like a 7200 around your neck, then a 400mm for covering the action. So both cameras can talk to the MiFi unit. So wherever the picture is, on the short lens or the long lens, you can send it. And speed is a big part of the job, you know. As soon as, because we're all sitting there at wherever the ground is, at Tottenham or Chelsea, and you know, we're competing with some great photographers out there, you know, whether they're working for Getty Images or AFP, AP, Press Association. They're all very good photographers. So sometimes we've all got a similar picture, and sometimes it's the person who kind of gets it over quicker, you know. So speed is key. Yeah.
Speed is key.
Yeah. So then, I mean, that is kind of the majority of the kind of job I do for like Reuters and the FA. So, but then afterwards, you know, I don't have I don't have an agency. I am a one-man band, so I don't sell it on afterwards. I literally just keep that stuff. So as regards editing and stuff, I literally just once the day's over, I'll download the stuff to a hard drive and keep it there in month and year order. And occasionally people might call me up and ask for a picture, but it's not something it's not a big part of my business really. Does that cover that?
I think it does. I think that covers all the bases.
Yeah.
I have just been informed that your friend, Premier League and England player Fabian Delph is watching. So hello. Big shout out.
What's up, man? How you doing? I should be looking at this, shouldn't I? See, I have to remember I've not done this before, so this is all.
I know it's very hard, in fairness, to focus on two things at once. Like.
Yeah, I know Garrett's on there giving me a thumbs up. So I should be looking down here, shouldn't I? Shall I answer that? Shall I?
If you want, yeah. Go for it.
Go-to lens. Well, 7200 is probably the go-to, but I mean, yeah, I guess that, and the 400 volt 2.8 is just an absolute beautiful lens. You know, it's just the way it sort of knocks the background out, and the focusing on it is just top drawer. So the Mark III, it's nice and light as well. It's yeah, it's very good. All these words are getting in the way now. I've not seen Bertie for so long. How are you, Bertie? Sorry.
You're so popular.
Huh?
You're so popular.
You're joking. Fantastic. Oh,
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry.
We've got loads of people tuning in. You don't have to apologise.
We should talk. Hi, guys.
So the Puffy Tails asks, do you have any tips for action shots, specifically pets?
Action for pets. Yeah. Pets. Okay. You know what might be helpful is certainly to get a hand going out there, to bring someone with you, so you can sort of get them to kind of maybe run right to left and to get them to run the right way where you want to go, because otherwise they're going to go all over the place. But certainly it's a bit like any action really, getting low. Get nice and low, get as low as you can, because dogs are generally smaller, and if you can get them running towards you nice and low with their feet off the ground, that'll make a beautiful picture. What
focusing techniques do you use?
Okay, so there's actually on this Mark III, by the way, the zonal focus on it now is absolutely fantastic. So basically, I never would have used it before, but on this one, it's just because it's got a little kind of spot in the center of the zonal focus as well, which you can move around. So you can pick up, if your person is on the left, you can kind of move the little spot to the left. It will pick them up. But once it picks them up, no matter where they run in the frame, whether it's say a person, a rugby player, or whatever, or a footballer training, wherever they run, basically the focus will just follow them around. So that at the moment is proving very good. If you want, maybe on shooting football on a goal mouth, you wouldn't use that because there's too many people around. So then I'd use kind of a spot, just a single spot focus. Maybe with the assists, just to give it a little bit more. If you're just slightly off, it'll pick it up. But certainly those are the two main kind of focus options I would use. But I think with everything, just for people, we're all different, aren't we? So try the different stuff and see what you like. You know, sort of try. And now's a good time to do that.
Trial and error.
No excuse. Try them all, and see what works for you. You know. So yeah.
Yeah, there was another question here. Where is your preferred place to sit pitch side? If I had a 18-yard line is where I really like to work. As near enough to that as possible. So it's just a nice angle on the goal, and then
yeah, the 400mm kind of covers the centre of the field. It's funny. The nearer the goal you get, there's more chance of getting the ball in the picture. But it's 18-yard line is kind of a compromise, because generally when footballers score, they generally tend to head off to celebrate towards like the corner flag.
Yeah.
So you kind of it's kind of the middle ground for me. So I get a bit of both. I get a decent angle on goal pictures, and generally get some kind of celly.
Thomas Tyner asks, do you shoot RAW or JPEG?
Okay, I shoot for working for Reuters. We shoot JPEG. That's a decision that's made by management at very high up in Reuters. It's just was felt that because they have very strong trust principles, and they just felt that if they shot RAW, people would just think that you could do more with the pictures. So there's always unfortunately, in this day and age, there's always controversy about the use of Photoshop. So Reuters are very keen and genuinely, they really are tough. If you were to change one thing on a picture, if you took one branch out of a picture behind someone's head because you didn't like it, because if you took that branch out and Reuters found out, you would be sacked immediately. So it's that serious. Yeah.
Wow.
Other than that, I would shoot RAW. Given the choice, obviously this gives you so much more to work with, But yeah, so any other work I would shoot RAW, yeah, other than Reuters.
What are you doing at the moment? I know you said you're doing a little bit of news,
yeah,
things like that.
A little bit for Reuters, bit of news, some features, some picture stories, just about this incredible situation we're in at the moment. And other than that, it's kind of been quite nice to sort of spend some time at home. My 3 daughters are at home at the moment, so it's really nice to spend some time with them and my good lady.
Are you the only man on the island?
I am, yeah. Me. Even my dog's a bitch.
You really are the only man on the island, so.
Yeah. So, but it's been nice. It's been nice to kind of do some gardening for a change and really get on top of that, and fix all those things that are broken in the house that I've never been able to get around to. But when I say I try to fix them, I mean.
Dowie Luke has asked, any tips for hurling photography? And someone has also asked, have you ever photographed hurling?
I have. I did it at Croke Park many years ago. My mum and dad are Irish, and I used to go back over to Ireland every summer.
So we can claim you a little bit.
Oh, of course, yeah. a bit of Irish blood in there. Yeah, so kind of when I first started photography, I managed to get. I got an introduction to a very famous Daily Mirror photographer called Monty Fresco, and he managed to get me a long lens, my first ever long lens, which was a thing called a Novaflex, which is no one will ever have heard of. It was really weird because it looked like a bit of a machine gun. You had to, in order to focus, they had a trigger. And what was really weird is that as the footballer came towards you, you had to release the trigger rather than squeeze it. So it's kind of very weird focus system. So I had this Novaflex 280, which I brought when I was shooting in Croke Park, and yeah, we did Gaelic football and hurling in Croke Park. So yeah, it's a great game in hurling, fantastic game. It's a fast game.
Yeah, I was just about to say, I don't envy any of the photographers who are working on any hurling games, because it's such a fast game.
Yeah. But listen, you've actually got some fantastic photographers in Ireland. Working for Sports File and Info, they really are two top agencies. So there's absolutely no shortage of quality photographers in Ireland, that's for sure.
Tips on, like you said, you're sorting out your library. Like, do you have any tips for any photographers who are trying to maybe sort out theirs, or doing any of their kind of admin work?
Don't particularly have a library that works, so I just store all my pictures.
Have we lost Eddie?
It's important you do look after them for sure. But as regards to photographers, any young photographers out there, it's just practice. I can't say that enough. And in all weathers, just don't not go out because it's raining. In fact, you should be keener to go out if it's raining, because it just makes better pictures, and it's great practice. Because well, one day you'll need to work in them. We all have to work in the rain now and again. So, any tips on focusing on small, fast-moving objects, wildlife with a 500? Yeah, get a Mark III. It'd be easy. Honestly, that zonal focus on the Mark III would pick up like a bird flying in the sky, like a red kite or something. It'll just pick it up and it'll just follow it. It'll grab it, and the focus will just grab on it. It'll stick with it because it's got these kind of algorithms in it that just all recognizes shape, color, texture, and if it picks it up, then it'll stay with it. So, but the only problem is it's a very good camera, but it's expensive.
It is very expensive. This is the 1DX Mark III. I think we've covered all of our bases. I think we've answered most of the questions. So I just want to thank you again on behalf of Birmingham Cameras for coming on and being our first interviewee. It's been very entertaining and very educational. Very educational as well.
Well, yeah. I mean, we learn in many different ways. But hopefully you're all inspired. Huh? Get out there.
Get out there, practice.
Yeah. And,
get out there in the rain.
Thank you very much for looking after me on my first ever Instagram live.
Well, there's a first time for everything, Eddie. There's a first time for everything.
Okay. All right.
So I'm just gonna, if any of you have found this educational or entertaining, it will be available on our story for the next 24 hours. So tell your friends, tell not your friends, so your family, and it'll be available to watch on our Instagram. So thank you all for watching. It's been a pleasure. Thank you, Eddie. Thank you, Canon UK and Canon Ireland, for making this happen. And we hope you all keep safe and well.
Okay.